I'm short Bitcoin at the moment.
Sorry, what was that, mate?
I'm short Bitcoin at the moment. Down is good.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a bit of a hell of a move to be fair. It's gone
Yeah,
a bit mental.
it's melting, dude.
It
It's going to
is.
zero.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, mate, but yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It
I
won't go
don't,
to zero because Justin will buy it all. But
yeah, it's, I know nothing about Bitcoin, mate, other than it moves fast when it
okay,
moves.
sure.
But yeah,
It's fascinating. Crypto is fascinating, but it's a deep, dark well.
yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, I'm closing. Just, bear with me a sec, mate. I'm just gonna,
Yeah, go on, cool. Well done. That's trade.
Nabad for a Sunday. Done. I'll cover this just quickly, just so while it's on my screen. So I was actually drawn to it from I think Blundell was posting it in the results section earlier, so I wanted to go check it out. So it's just the same as always, guys. So I've got a couple of, I mean that's a crappy trend line. It's one I had marked, but there's three clean touches here. So one, two, three, sweep, and then as always, break to the downside. So this is the break. And if I draw a level line from there, you can see obviously it closes below here. So obviously from this perspective, it's a sweep. I mean, it's continuation really because it is sort of heading downwards, but yeah, it's heading downwards. But we've been heading upwards for a couple of weeks now, I believe. Um, and then what I was from that point, obviously it broke the low here. I was focusing on this area here. So I've got this trend line here. So we've got three three clean touches here and this order block here, as you can see, is what causes the this trend line to be taken. So I was obviously I was fully aware that price might want to come back up here. So obviously I was looking around this area from obviously this sweep and then break structure to the downside. This is the one that causes the break to the downside. It might obviously it just uses this liquidity to force the breaker structure or the change of character. So below this low that was looking to be broken. So I didn't just get in off this zone here. Obviously it's a nice zone, but what I was concerned about was obviously it might go higher a touch, or it might sweep this, break to the upside, and then come back and mitigate something in here and go higher and maybe up into here. But what we did actually get was a nice little sort of confirmation and a slightly later entry than I normally would take was obviously price has come breaking structure, it's come into this order block in there, and we've got a little bit of uptrending price action, and then again it hits the order block we are looking for. Yeah, hits it, pretty much fills the order block, almost pretty much equal highs, and then obviously it breaks under this last low that it creates. So last low under here, that one there. This one puts in the high, then gets broken again. So we get a minute break to the downside again, which was then I literally just went off this 1 minute order block here. So just delete that one so you can see a little bit of imbalance in there. Comes back for that, taps it about perfect, just taps me in. Minimal spread. I didn't see it, so I don't know how minimal, but just about tapped me in with spreads. And then obviously it's gone and done its thing. It's fell off a cliff. So
Cool.
yeah, that was that one, mate.
So you
So
use basically an extra level of confirmation to what you can
yeah,
do.
yeah. So like I say, as after that first, because of this one here,
Yeah,
the options beyond that. So I covered this with uh Dan in the week when I jumped on with Dan. So when liquidity is taken, I'm always looking for two possible outcomes. So obviously it's bounced off this last touch here, pulled back, swept. Just turn that red. No, turn that orange. Can you even see that clearly, Matt?
yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
that's fine.
It looks a bit incognito on mine, but
That's
um,
right.
so once the sweep's happened, what I'm always sort of looking for is obviously on this occasion, what it's done has it's tested the high of the last touch on the pullback, which is obviously it's gone very high, and then it's broken a previous little low, like this one here.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's only a candle on the 5 minute, so it's mitigated the highest imbalance in here that I would want for it to continue down, which is what it's done. Broken a candle low, obviously then it's come back and mitigated. So this is prime continuation setup for me. Obviously,
yeah, and
structure wise, it doesn't look great because ideally we would maybe wait for this one to be broken, but this standalone wick obviously looks a lot better on the 1 minute because you can see its proper structure on the 1 minute. So I'll redraw that last bit again just so on the 1 minute.
yeah, it's fine.
So come back mitigated up. We've got this structure on the way up, broken again, and then obviously it's come back, sold off. So obviously give the confirmation from this order block here. If this would have been broken, then I'd have been definitely sells higher up, somewhere up here. I was looking around. Um, like I say, because it didn't break this and then it started showing signs of breaking to the downside, I was fairly happy with this. Uh, so as I was saying, obviously, um, yeah. So basically, because it didn't break this last touch, this just confirmed that once it broke that,
Yeah.
I was more than happy with
Can
what I
you
see.
could you zoom out to the original setup again, please, Lee?
Yep, of course, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So
That was
trend line. It's all happened this afternoon, mate. So
yeah,
1:15 ish
yeah.
till
Okay.
20. So I say it's all up to date. Sorry, yesterday. It's Sunday today, isn't it?
Basically,
Yes.
you used the extra level of confirmation so you're happy it wasn't going to go higher.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like
you
I say,
used it to de-risk, basically. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like I say, originally, me first, I was originally looking at possibly selling from that point of interest.
Yeah. Which
Um,
normally you would if you had just been simplistic
yes,
about
yeah,
the system.
yeah,
That's where you'd look, and
yeah,
you'd say it either gets there or it doesn't. If it doesn't get there, then there's no trade, or you
yeah.
wait. Yeah.
Absolutely. The main reason why I sort of like, obviously, generally I look at the one that causes the break anyway. So
Yeah.
generally, I'd always be looking at that. I'll turn that blue. Generally, I'd always be looking at like these two as the sell anyway. Um, it was this trend line here that made me question it, and you know, because it like I say, it could have swept this, broke structure, and then broke to the upside. So I'd have been, if it had broken to the upside, I'd have been hesitant to sell from here anyway, because this might have been the trade rather than this one being the trade. So,
Yeah.
but obviously, like I say, there's a good when it's obviously when it's playing out live. Obviously, there's plenty going through your mind of what could be happening and playing out. Obviously, in hindsight now, we can say, yeah, it's just used this just to force it down to break below this and carry the momentum
Yeah.
of that. But obviously, in the moment, you never fully know.
Yeah. So
Um,
you're okay with a 5 minute trend line.
yes, mate. Yeah, yeah,
If it's a good one, yeah, if it's a nice
yeah,
one.
yeah. It's yeah. I think it looks yeah. A bit better on the one. It looked clean earlier anyway. I mean, I'm okay with 1 minutes. You know,
Yeah,
it's just
it's kind of quality, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. You can see
Yeah, you
it's
see that works on the 1 and the 5 anyway. That's good
yeah,
signal, isn't it? Because you
yeah. And then
haven't got to be messing about 1 minute candles because
no,
they're fine. They're local highs anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's yeah. I was okay with it, mate. And obviously, you start noticing that like this sort of movement, you know, like the fastening up of pace, and then on the upside, and
yeah,
then like it's just they're all identical, but I mean they're like snowflakes. Let's say like they say snowflakes are all like all different, but we all know the snowflakes from a distance. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just but yeah, manipulation pretty much always looks a bit similar to that. You know, price seems to speed up
yeah.
and then reverse is pretty damn quick, which
Which you see better on the lower time frame as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And then
Oh, good
obviously,
on you, Mike. Well done.
cheers,
Nice.
mate. Yeah, and then obviously we've got something similar going on here. Um, it's not quite tapped the entry zone that I had marked from a previous setup, so I don't know whether it's going to buy or sell off from there, but take a look.
People are getting out of Bitcoin and buying gold.
Yeah,
All the money's flowing out of everything and going into gold.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I mean, gold gave us pretty much the same trade on Friday, I think it was. Um, yeah, same, pretty much the same trade. So trend line, three touches, sweep. See what I mean about me saying they all look fairly similar. There's a speeding upward
Mhm.
price here, and then a reversal.
Yeah,
Break a structure,
yeah.
comes back, mitigates something. And obviously, I looked at this because Blundell had posted something. I think it was. I think he was saying there was a trend line in here somewhere, and there was debated whether it was a
Right.
trend line or not. So it made me look at it. I thought this had played out. So
Yeah.
when I looked at it, obviously I marked this up so uh, Stephen could look at it and just say, I don't think that's a trend line, mate. But we've all got our own. We can all sort of like make excuses of whether it is or isn't. We've all got our own definitions of what is and what isn't, I guess. But I just said I don't think it is, mate.
Yeah.
But and then because of this, obviously, I thought it played out. I thought that's obviously tapped into Summit and trades played out. And then I looked again later, and it had come a touch higher. And I thought, why didn't I just? If I'd have took 2 minutes to have a look at what it had tapped
Mhm.
into in the
Yeah.
during this point, I'd
Would
have.
you have got it?
Yeah, I think I would have, mate. Yeah, yeah. So what I do?
Can we have a
What?
look at it? Let's have a
Yeah,
look at the
yeah,
balance
absolutely, mate.
early.
Yeah. So obviously, I'd always bar replay from there anyway. So I'm getting better with gold. So obviously, at the point I've replayed it, it's done everything I want it to do, and it's just time to go and pick an entry as such. So what I found with gold
Yeah.
is because I thought it was relatively uh just didn't really work for me as such. So, but what I found better is see if I do it on me. I've not done it on me. There we go. Get that off. I found I'm far better if I can turn wicks off. So,
I've been using the bar, what do you call it, recently. There's a different graph type that already does that, Lee.
yeah,
It's called, hang on, let me have a quick look. And I've been flicking between it.
yeah.
Yeah, if you go to bar style,
Where's that?
no, that's it. At the top. Go back up, top. Use the first one.
The bars.
That's it. Pick that. Yeah,
Oh,
that shows you everything. Yeah.
oh yeah. See what have wicks on it, will it?
No, it doesn't have wicks. So the little tags to the side does show you the entry and exit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But I found I was trying to interpret the wicks,
yeah.
and your system doesn't really pay any attention, does it?
No, no.
To wicks. The other thing is sometimes when you're joining a trend line off a bar that doesn't have a wick,
Yeah,
it gets a bit distracting because the trend line cuts the corner of the bar.
yeah,
And actually, that's irrelevant. That's just because
yeah,
that's
yeah.
how they draw the bar.
That's
It's
just a
the
pixel.
point of the
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. It's just cutting the pixels. So you think, oh, that trend line's not valid, and actually it is. It's
yeah,
just because they've drawn a thick bar there that doesn't need to be there. So
yeah,
I've been experimenting with using that recently. I
yeah.
didn't know you could turn wicks off though. Actually, I didn't know
Yeah. I
that.
mean, all I'm doing at the minute is, mate, is just double click on it, and you can, and it brings this up. Um, but I think because
Oh, so you're not
obviously,
even so you're actually hiding the wicks.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're not even
It's
seeing that part of the range.
no, no. It's just tears the wicks on and off, mate.
Okay, all right.
Um, obviously it's on the whatever that one
Yeah, I
is,
can see it.
candles.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So when I was obviously when I
But
jumped
you're
back
missing
on,
quite a lot of price action there, aren't you? If you do that.
yes, but um, I suppose obviously I'm looking for generally I'm normally looking for imbalance. So
Hmm.
gold's its own beast, let's say.
Yeah.
So if I turn wicks on, I think I might have had this conversation with you before, maybe privately though. Um,
No, I don't think we talked about. I don't remember
but I
this.
like if you look to the obviously I've dropped down to the seconds now.
Yeah. So you haven't
Like
really Wix anyway,
this
usually. Yeah.
it's all wicks.
Yeah. All right.
So obviously I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know. I was speaking to someone the other week. I know that, and I said like maybe, um, maybe gold refreshes its price more regularly than say a
All
forex
right.
pair. So I think forex will maybe update a candle up to 3 times a second, whereas gold seems to be maybe five plus. You know,
Okay.
so or something along
Wonder
them
why that
lines.
is.
Yeah, it just seems to
Okay.
its refresh rate seems
Yeah.
a lot more. So which is why I think we see a lot more wick. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
you'd have to look at that a bit more just because I might be a bit wrong. I'm just
Yeah. No, it's all right. It doesn't really matter, does it? But it's just an interesting theory.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, I've only started doing it recently. Like I say, turn the wicks off because really um,
Yeah.
imbalance is
That's
just
what you're looking for.
yeah. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking
Yeah.
for sort of like obviously on this occasion on the 1 minute when I was looking at it, I was drawn to this as well, which is
Yeah.
why I've drawn
Yeah.
this here. So rather, obviously, normally if it was Forex, I'd be maybe up here or looking to see if it's tapped into something like a breaker block type thing, which it very well might have done. Um, but effectively, we're looking for this because that's where Summit hits the market and causes this to
Yeah.
push away, if you like. So yeah, I'm much preferring gold with the wicks off for entries anyway. Obviously, we need wicks on for liquidity because obviously we would never,
Yeah, but
yeah,
you could use the bars for that. You could use
yeah,
the other bar, the other shape for
yeah.
that.
So up until the entry, mate, I'm sticking as normal
Yeah,
because obviously
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
for liquidity, the wicks are important because we're just looking for a point of where price has been, and obviously if we think of say the big boys like the bankers and hedge funds jobs are or the manipulators of the market is to try and draw people into the market. So they just need a visual representation of there's a strong resistance here, so sell from this extra touch
yeah. I bet
sort
they
of thing.
don't use. I bet they do the same thing as you.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um,
just bars.
so yeah, wicks are important for the majority of, but then when it comes to entries, I'm wicks off on gold. So
Yeah,
um, but yeah, that was about it, mate. Really, obviously, I've shown the entry. I mean, but it's always the same thing, you know, within
Yeah, just got to keep looking
within a
at them.
reason. Then obviously it's absolutely fell off a cliff since. So
Nice, good job.
22 fold just shy of. Well, actually reached
Wow,
22 fold.
cool.
Um, that'll
You
be.
rescued your weekly.
Well, I didn't take it, mate. Like I say, it was yeah. I was. I mean, I've suffered with poor signal all week anyway. So,
Oh
like I
yeah,
say,
yeah,
this week, this up push here, like I say, I assumed that was moved on at that point, and I was looking.
yeah,
I think I was looking roughly around. I think price was about there when I was looking. So I just assumed price was it done its thing here, and it was just selling off. And then I looked again, and it was somewhere around here.
yeah. Fine. Okay. Hope Stephen got it.
Yeah, well, I hope someone got it, mate. You know, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But as far as setups go, mate, it's
Basic, isn't it?
pretty basic. It's clean. It's done everything we want it to do. I don't generally. I think that's an all-time high.
Oh, it probably is. Yeah.
Yeah, all-time high. Not generally keen on all-time highs because you've
Yeah.
got nothing to react out of
Yeah.
left.
Can't
But
look left, can you? Yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's a valid
Damn.
trade nonetheless. So um,
Cool.
I'll tell you what.
Nice, nice, clean example, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you
I
what.
I really like how it almost tapped the zone that it didn't. It's a good example for patience as well,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
having confidence in
Yeah, yeah,
the setup.
yeah. I mean, it's worth having a look to see what I actually tapped into. I did look, but I think I deleted the irrelevant stuff. Yeah, imbalance fill, 10 wicks off
Yeah.
point. But I mean, that's. I mean, I'd have been messaging you before if you'd have posted it, mate, and I'd said, I'd be going, is that above it? That there, you know.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. I wouldn't have
yeah,
done that. Don't worry. I'd I'd have seen that. It's quite clear.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, just a relatively simple, easy setup, mate, and it was
Cool.
a hell of a move in the end. So that was gold. You got any questions, by the way, guys? There's only two of you on. But
No, not me. I'm just soaking it up.
no worries, mate. Um, so if there's no questions, I will. Let's talk about
All right,
this.
I'll put a couple of markups on Friday. Have a look at those if you want to. Uh,
Yeah,
very, very simple. I was trying to copy those ones, George's trades earlier. Hang on, where are they?
yeah.
Blah,
Well, I'll tell you what,
blah,
mate.
blah, blah. Oh,
I'll
go
just
on.
go. I'll
Yeah,
go through this one quick, mate, because I was looking at this. So GBP, CHF, and German 40. So I'll just cover them dead quick
yeah.
then I'll
No
jump
rush.
on them.
Yeah,
So
that's not important. Doesn't matter.
I was looking at it going, it's not even touching anything. Yeah, I've got wicks off, haven't
I can't. I can't read that chart.
I?
I can't handle the obviously charts, Lee. I can't do it. I've just
No.
got to find my own way on that one.
Fair, very fair, mate. So trend line here, four touches, one, two, three, four. We've also got a three here, so I'll just extend these. I think more. No. So, I was actually on with Dan Taylor. It was Wednesday night, just as this was about to play out. Um, so we've got liquidity line, liquidity here, obviously three touches. We've got four touches on this one just below it. So again, big push up, sweep, and then obviously it's breaking to the downside here. Um, this entry is so obvious, it's unbelievable, um, which we'll get to in a second. But I just want to draw the attention as well too. obviously if I put a level line from the top of the sweep there, and obviously if we look at this price level here, obviously it's tapped into something here as well, which I'm
Yeah,
relatively happy with. So
sold from there before. Yeah,
yeah, this area is possibly responsible for break uh breaker structure below that one, and I'm sure there's I mean, it looks to be like there's some form of liquidity in there. Um, oh, didn't do that one. Yeah, some form of liquidity in there. So I was, I don't, I'm not going to check what this is. I'm sure it don't look as good on the lower time frame. So obviously, I was relatively happy with what this had tapped into and thought there's a potential for a big move here. So two decent pools of liquidity swept by this, and then obviously it breaks candles to the downside. Um, so obviously consolidated for ages. As you can see, it's done this for a very long time.
couple of weeks or stuff. Two
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah,
No, nearly a month.
yeah, pretty much a month. So, um, yeah, I was when I was on with Dan, I said obviously I'm sure there'll be some form of trend line in here that's going to get swept and then tap into
Yeah,
this or the one hat or the one above. But as I say, most weeks I prefer the one that's slightly down. Um, I'll see if I can find a quick trend line in here. I'm sure there'll be some. I don't doubt it for a second.
well, I think I looked at this and couldn't find it. It doesn't mean there isn't anything.
No, it's
Because I was trying to prove the high you traded was a sweep. I couldn't find a trend line to prove it was a sweep.
magnet office since we not that one.
Nah, see, no. I'm getting
Yeah,
fussy. I'd have seen that one and I've said no.
yeah,
I
maybe
couldn't
that.
find one.
There you go, mate. That one there.
Yeah, fair enough. Why did I not like that one? I don't know.
Obviously, it's just slightly off because I've got not got my magnet on, but I think I'd be relatively
Yeah,
happy.
I don't think that cuts it, Lee. I think
No, it don't.
I'm not
No,
sure about
yeah,
that,
no,
mate.
no, it don't. That
If
middle
I'd have
touches
posted
over.
that,
Yeah, I would have.
you'd have had a word.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Not that one, mate. Dead right. There'll be some anyway. I'm sure of it. Just haven't spotted it. Um, and obviously, I'm sure it's done something to the downside possibly as well. Again, that one's not clean enough. That was me trying to find stuff. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, I think if we with this, you could probably almost just draw a line across
yeah,
pretty much all of it and just go, there's something going on above,
yeah.
below that. So just
Oh
count the
yeah,
lot.
it's all a
Maybe even,
consolidation statement.
yeah,
It's plain as day, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I'd be happy with a little bit of sloppiness in that maybe, because it's been going for so long. And then I'll just show you the entry quick because it's so obvious. Even if everything else was wrong, you'd probably get a reaction out of this anyway. But
yeah,
it stands out like a sore thumb.
yeah.
Uh, and obviously there's got a little, maybe a build-up liquidity there. It's a lot lower. So this is a good indication as well. Love that. So
So that's pushing out for people to buy in
yeah,
to line up their sales. Yeah.
yeah,
So you like that as opposed to
yeah,
there's something happened before the imbalance.
yeah.
So they're
So
loading up basically. They've agreed that they're going to buy. They're going
yeah,
to someone's push price up into that zone. That's the trigger for
yeah. So
everybody else to, in my theory, when they're down the pub at night,
yeah,
they say, I'm going to push price up at 7 a.m. You've got from 7 a.m. to 7:15.
Yeah, yeah,
to get your cells in, and that's the zone. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I think it's like I say, it depends if you are. It depends if you believe that they're after people's money or orders or whatever as well. So obviously, I'm accurate with trend lines. Other people are not as picky. So people will class that as a trend line. Obviously, I'd say it's questionable, but
yeah,
if people see that, they're going to go. They're going to see this push away off that, and that's going to draw in buyers, thinking, "Nice one, I've got another chance," and obviously it obliterates them. So,
mhm,
um, depending on what you believe, will depend on what your theory about it all is, obviously. But the the push up is often the difference between like an entry zone being right or wrong. I think a lot of the better, a lot of me entry zones often have a big push in the opposite direction before the. Obviously, on this occasion, there's a big push up before the
yeah,
big push down. So,
yeah,
yeah, and obviously then it's created a BPR on the 1 minute, whatever, whatever it wants to be called, but obviously impulse the other way. Maybe that's
yeah.
part of the reason for a good entry because obviously I think Kev put a good explanation of what it is in it might have been the S&D chat about what
He
BPR
did.
is.
I mean, he kind of explained the shape. I've never really understood the theory behind them, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean to me it's just a price level where something's happened. I guess whatever that is. It's not
Yeah,
easy. It's not easy. It's just I suppose it's just an identification of where the big players are entering the market if they are entering the market and it's not just a computer that's moving it. Because although
well,
it's only
that's the 7 a.m. So that's 7 a.m., which is the market open. Yeah.
yeah
Oh, this is not. This is. Sorry, I thought we were looking at the DAX. This is
no
Swiss, British Swiss.
yeah I said it's
Eh,
London
I think
opening it,
they
but
just agreed. They've just set up. Yeah, it's like someone said we're going to use that zone. Someone
yeah
set it up in advance, and they
mm,
come back for it a month later. Yeah,
yeah
and they said it's going to be because I think the thing is. So I was thinking about this a bit. They can't really collude about price because price varies a bit on the feeds.
yeah
Yeah, but they can collude about time.
yeah
So they can say the zone we're going to sell from will be the zone from what date was it? 6th of March, market open.
yeah
Yeah. That's where we're gonna sell from.
hmm
So now come a month later,
yeah
everybody
yeah
knows where to look.
yeah
Yeah. And I don't think they need necessarily a big move because they don't
no
forget they move an awful lot of money.
yeah
So they take a 1/4% or 1/10% on a huge amount of money and they're done. That's their day done.
yeah absolutely yeah they're not trying to catch
No, they're not trying to catch 50x moves.
no yeah so yeah obviously it was a fairly obvious entry in a way.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
But the only downside to it was that our mate Trump was calling out his tariffs around at that time exactly. So
Yeah.
left it alone, unfortunately.
Yeah, he probably did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean
Too
it's
unpredictable.
yeah, it's I mean obviously in hindsight we could go yeah, well
Well, I would
look at it, but it could have easily
Swissy. There's no reason. There's no, it's a pure guess where the GDP would sell off against Swiss
yeah
franc.
yeah yeah
If everybody got 10%, we got 10%. I bet you Switzerland got more. I would Britain. Who knows? Switzerland's a more stable country financially than we are. They've got
yeah
vast. They've got much more solid reserves
yeah
than we have.
oh,
So
absolutely mate
you'd say in times of high risk, then you'd go to Swiss, not GDP.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah
Who
which sort of
knows?
make
You got to
which
debate
makes
this.
sense for this cell obviously, but I mean
Yeah. It looks really neat, doesn't it? So
yeah
it's really neat. Yeah.
yeah. There's these things always seem to coincide with entries, though. Do you know?
Yeah. That's how they hide them. They sneak them in.
Yeah, yeah,
They knew what they were
it's
doing.
always lined up with a perfect opportunity to get in, so.
That
But
board,
whether that's just pure
Trump's
coincidence,
board. Come on,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Trump's board was sitting around the White House for several days, right?
yeah,
Everybody who walked past took a little picture of it and go,
yeah,
I know what I'm doing on that Wednesday. Yeah.
yeah, 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 definitely, yeah, 100%. So that was that one anyway. It's reached a whopping 58-fold just on the couple of days it was done.
Cool.
Wednesday night till Friday close.
And it's not even a super tight stop, is it? By
No,
your
no, no, no.
stands.
That's eight.
That's
That's
quite a generous stop.
yeah. I think much more than that, mate. And I'll probably not even consider it to be honest. But
Yeah.
it's when I was on with Dan the other day. So structure wise, I was sort of saying that obviously because I was looking for cells, I think we're effectively short term bearish maybe, or would
Yeah.
possibly this is possibly that a high to maybe come and test a low or take a low or something like that. But I'm sure effectively I was saying we are bullish overall. I think I've deleted all my drawings, but we are. Let me just look at this again so I don't get it wrong. So from here, obviously, we are bullish structures. Let's just draw that. So just delete them again later. Obviously, I'm fully ignoring this huge push down here because you keep going back and then not find anything. So effectively that there. So that's sort of a higher time frame structure. Um, so I said we've taken the high here, so we are if we can catch a sell from here, we're looking for maybe a test of this bottom low here. Because
Yeah.
obviously
Because it's major structural.
yeah, so major structure point. So it's taken the
Yeah.
high, so we could pull back at any point. And then I said obviously, but once it gets here, it might take the it might take the low. We don't know. So, and I think I might have just spotted a trend line as well. So yeah, so obviously basically said if we can catch a sell, we could be seeing at least a pullback to this bottom 25% here, and obviously there's trend line here as well. So there's stuff below that made me think it could well start to sell off and sell off well. um, Not quite that. I'm a little bit distracted now, and I distract myself. Maybe that. Um, yeah. So there's possibly a trend line there. It might need extend something else, but yeah, I'll look at that shortly anyway. Um, down here to target. Like I said, that might need adjusting slightly, but it's obviously it's reached it wherever it lines up with, and obviously I've got this sort of build up liquidity here, sweep, and then a break to the upside. So can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so my
All right.
computer went weird.
Jim's gone. Yeah,
What
you
the,
went with it a bit wibbly wobbly, but yeah, here you go, mate.
yeah. So yeah, there's a trend line sweep, break to the upside here. This is possibly the
Your
entry.
video was stopped, Lee.
So I'll wait a sec, mate. Me case is refreshing, something's going on, I think. Just let us know when it's back, mate. Please.
No, no. It's stuck at, oh, your clock's ticking. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, screen's back, is it?
Move your cursor.
Yeah, I am. Doing big circles,
No,
mate.
it's not working. I'm seeing your clock tick. Sorry, that's really odd. Scroll your screen a bit.
What's
No,
going on?
but your clock is correct because your clock is 2 or 3 seconds behind mine.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be 4 seconds, 13, 14.
Uh,
No,
so
that's really odd because if I can see your clock, then I should be able to see your chart
yeah.
moving, and your chart is static. Oh well.
I think it might be coming back in a sec. Might I'm getting there. Is that better? Now.
Yeah, I can see a cursor moving. Yeah,
Yeah, sweet. Um, yeah, so obviously we had there's liquidity there. We're back.
yeah. Lost 40 seconds there. Don't
Yeah,
worry, I can set it. I see it. There's liquidity there. Yeah.
beautiful. Right. I think it might be my internet connection, mate, to be fair. Can you hear me now though? And I'm fine.
Yes, I can hear
Sweet.
you, and I can see
Beautiful.
chart
So
moving.
that's fine. It seems to be back to normal now. So as I was saying, there's liquidities up here. I know I'm on the 4 hour, so just trust me, there's a trend line in there. And
Yeah,
we've possibly got something along the lines of this one here. Like I say, it might need tweaking slightly depending on probably better there actually. So we've possibly got trend line liquidity
yeah.
further
That's better,
down as
isn't it? That's
well.
neater.
Yeah, and then even below that, we've got obviously there's something in here, a sweep, break to the upside eventually, which this might be the entry for this. So because obviously that was a decent buy up, so this is possible mitigation for that. Um, but it also might not have been. So if I'd have caught it, and obviously it was taking these trend lines, I'd have been keeping a close eye at these sort of like these levels for price to reach to or react out of. Um, and obviously, like saying when I was on with Dan, I says this move might cause the break of structure, so which it has done. So from here, I mean, I don't particularly know what's going to happen from here, but there's also a good chance that if we can find good liquidity in here, we might well eventually come back up here for another sell
Yeah,
and then a new lower low after that because we've had a 4 hour change of character, break of structure, whatever. Um, but where from is the question. It might well be from here because obviously it's taking liquidity and it is pulling back slightly. So we would be waiting on breaks to the upside. I don't think that's it. I don't really think I count that as a structure. Might be, might not be, but I'm not risking my money on that.
could you,
So
could you go back to the 4 hour, please, Lee?
yes,
So my question is,
yeah.
how do you know that sell-off hadn't already happened somewhere in those first few hours of that high being made? The first high, the
This
high we're
one,
selling from.
yeah.
Yeah, how do you know the sell-off didn't already happen in there somewhere? Because there's like 12 hours in there at least, isn't there? There's several 4 hour candles in there.
What do you mean? Like one of these wasn't the
Right.
move?
That first, yeah, yeah. How do we know that wasn't, or even that very first big drop there?
Yeah, that one there.
How do we know the top of that wasn't the move?
Uh,
Yeah. How do
so
we know that wasn't the move? Because this has confused me a couple of times.
yeah,
Sometimes you guys trade. It's literally the next hour, the next half an
yeah,
hour.
yeah,
And other times it's a month later. I'm going, well, which one is it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I suppose, mate. What? So right, let me give bearings with this. So
Yeah,
obviously it's taken liquidity. It's trending upwards. It's tapped into something that I'm really happy with to the left. That's obviously mega important.
yeah,
So I'm happy that this is possibly the overall high of the move. Price
yeah.
is as a minimum, I'm wanting it to break below here. This obviously we are FXCM feed, so FXCM there. This there is spread out price action. So this is
Right.
not the low I'm
So
looking to
ignore
be
that.
broken,
Yeah,
whereas
yeah,
this one is. So when obviously at that point it's broken, I'm looking for it to come back and mitigate something.
yeah.
So from there, obviously this zone is appealing pretty much on every time frame I looked at. So if I think
So
one of the
let's see how far it comes back up before it really drops.
yeah, I'll do the 5 minute,
Yeah, that might be easier.
but effectively because I was so confident, not confident, yeah, well, confident, yeah, confidence is probably the word. I mean, it probably comes and fills something in here, and I'd have to check what all the wicks tap into to actually have a look. But this is such a that push up and the push down was such
Yeah,
an
okay.
impulsive thing that
Yeah,
this was always going to get a reaction. Probably it was either going to get
yeah,
absolutely obliterated
yeah,
or it was going to cause a big sell off. So,
yeah,
and like I
yeah.
say, just with the I'll tell you what, I'll cancel that, mate. I'll go jump on the 4 hour. Um,
Yeah, and just expand it out. Yeah, that's what I'm trying
yeah,
to
so
figure out.
because of structure as well, so because obviously it's gone, I must have deleted it by accident. But obviously, because I'm aware that this had been broken, this high. Obviously, this was the structure high I was looking. That
Yeah,
was the recent one. Then a pullback, then a new high. So it passed beyond this one here quite substantially.
yeah,
So I was always really sort of anticipating
yeah.
a
And to
pullback
be fair,
soon.
the last, yeah. Could
And
you, and so could you just zoom out, zoom
sorry,
in, but
just
keep it on the four. Keep
yeah,
it on the four, but just show me those through. That's it. That's what I want to see.
yeah. And
Yeah,
also, obviously, because I'm looking at the sell
yeah,
and I'm happy with this zone. It's obviously it's a very nice zone. If I don't think, can't quite tell. That's the this is like my 15-minute low, this one here,
hmm,
and obviously price comes and doesn't take it. So obviously we could always easily obviously we've mitigated in here. It fills an imbalance or whatever it does in there. I, I don't know if there's a trend line or anything. Um, but if it had taken this low already, then I would be going. There's a good chance that it might not come back for that. That
right.
could
Because
be
the
moved
move
on.
is done. Yeah, okay.
So
Yeah,
so now that this structure low has been broken, I'm now looking at possible trend line somewhere in here, sweep, break a structure. We might come and mitigate something up in here now. So I've moved on because it's taken a structure low
yeah,
here. So yeah,
yeah,
until
okay.
that one was taken, this was our range. We obviously that was the range we was working with was from that
Yeah,
to the high.
okay. Yeah,
So until one of them was taken, mate, that was the range that I was looking to trade from. And that now we've created a new range as such. So yeah,
all right.
until targets was taken, mate, it's what I was yeah, that's what I was looking for. And obviously, like I say, it's turned out to be an absolute banger.
Yeah,
So
good job.
um,
Nice.
yeah, just a shame Trump was at his whiteboard. To be honest,
That's what your profit is. Your profit is from his whiteboard.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was that, and then just cover German 40. So we covered this. This was one of George's points of interest that we was looking at. Um, so
Oh yeah, I marked this one up. Yeah,
yeah, so George's trend line was
he drew it on 15.
yes. think I think George's was up here, but
Looks
mine's
about right. Yeah,
but my feed's slightly different. I think
he was doing German 30, I think,
yeah. So
and
yeah,
you're on the 40. They are going to be
yeah,
slightly different.
because Dan, this is Dan's as well. His was bang
Yeah,
on the 30, whereas mine's a 40. I was like, well, my broker offers the 40, so I've got to look at the 40. Um, but we've got a decent trend line to the underside as well. So something from obviously this high to the point that this is broken, price can always come back and mitigate anyway, which it does here. And then obviously, I keep saying obviously, but I need to stop doing it because nothing's obvious. What I was actually drawn to when George was posting his. So obviously George got in the of this touch here,
yeah,
whereas for me, I think it's pretty risky. Obviously George is fantastic at what he's doing. Hats off to the guy, but for me, I consider that risky because price is heading upwards at that point. So I'm looking for on here. We're 2 hour at the minute, so it's short term bullish on the 2 hour at least. I'm waiting for a candle low to be broken before because the lower time frame is going to change. Obviously, the 1 minute's going to change before the 5 or 15. The 15, 5 are going to
yeah,
change before the 4 hour as such. So I wanted candle lows to be broken to then signal that it's going to continue bearish. So that's pretty much exactly what I did. But this is a structure low, yeah, because this is heavily bullish. So we've had a possibly that one actually is a structure low, depending on if that takes the high or not. But one of these two anyway, that one or one of them two lows. It does both anyway. Obviously, this takes both of these.
yeah,
So that was one of the major things I was looking for. So something in here caused one of these, whichever one it is. Let's be safe and say this one here for now. This caused that to be taken. So what I was interested in was mitigating some and then just breaking to the downside. So, and that's pretty much exactly what it did. So broken to the downside there. On the way up, we've created little structures. So low, lowish somewhere in there, high, higher low, higher high, and then we eventually break the highest low, signaling that we might well turn bearish again. So um, obviously my entry was quite a while after George's, so I think it was a good day and a bit before I my entry triggered, but I waited for the extra confirmation, which is the break.
yeah,
I actually got in this, but I closed it just before Trump's tariff. So um, again, we have a huge impulsive up candle,
yeah.
and then we get imbalances on the way down. Can't remember how I marked it now, so I'll just have to drop down and see. A little bit of imbalance there. 10-15-ish seconds time frame.
I don't think that going lower than that really works on the DAX. I don't think it moves quick enough.
No. But yeah, obviously on the 15 there's a bit of an imbalance here. This draws your eye as well, so
yeah, push up is a signal, isn't
I'd
it?
have been more than happy even if it had sold off from say this here.
Yeah, but that's
I'd,
got to push up as well. See,
yeah,
yeah,
push up, push down.
the
So
push
if
up
it,
is a signal there's a bit of manipulation going on, isn't it?
yeah. So obviously with me entry being there, I'm more than happy to go if it misses me and it reverse from there. So be it. I don't care. This is obviously it's the safer option. Um, so yeah, I went from that one, mate. And obviously
Cool.
on the 5 minute, it looks I've drawn to this as a whole area, so that's why I was looking in that sort of area. And I don't believe
Yeah,
there's pretty much anything above anyway.
it's clear
And
manipulation, isn't it?
yeah, and this is the direct cause of these lows being taken. So that's why I
Yeah,
was looking. That's why I was looking there. But as I say, I
cool.
got out just before his tariff moves.
You could have retired on that one, I'm sure.
Yeah. Am I on replay? I feel like that one. Where's
654.
my
Yeah, I don't know. Your feed's stuck, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's
Oh, no,
Mac.
there's a
Oh
gap
yeah,
down. It's a
yeah,
gap down, mate.
yeah, gap down. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
dude,
I was
you'd have
very
retired
confused
on
then.
this one.
Yeah,
Yeah. What would
yeah.
it be? Oh, there you go. Oh, you
44
fit.
fold. Yeah.
Yeah,
So potentially
very
should have
nice.
had an amazing week, but want to be.
Yeah, who knows? Once could have got bitten very badly as well this week, so it doesn't.
Well, that's the thing. It's some weeks can be phenomenal, some weeks can be
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
You, we're just
Cool.
taking educated risk guesses, mate. That's effectively so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just got to play out
Cool.
what's in front of you and not over risk in case you get it
Yeah,
wrong and things like that, mate. So
cool. Thanks. Right. Well, this lot will keep me busy tomorrow morning.
yeah,
Going
all
through it
right.
again.
Do you want me to stay on a little bit and look over these things you posted, or
If you want, they're a bit random, but if you want to go, it's cool. I don't mind.
yeah, in no
Let
rush
me
to
have a
give up,
look.
mate.
I did put them up. I was just having a go at Copy and George's setups. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
Where were they? They're both Japan. They're both yen. Hang on. Let me just find it for you. Hang on. There we go. Euro yen on Friday. These are both Friday. 15 minutes. You see your screen. And the trend line I got starts about midday
on Friday.
about midday on Thursday.
Yeah,
I'm trying to flip between mine and yours. Yeah, that's it. There, below that obvious spike down there, Lee.
yeah,
That's the start of the trend line, and it's something like I'm just looking at my picture, mate. Yeah, I think you've got it. It's that one, that one, that one. But I don't think it's had a break of structure yet. And then it's swept. What was I using? I think it's probably gone too far. Hang on. Let me give you the link. Is that the trend line? Yeah, it goes into Saturday. No, it's lower. That's it. It's
what?
something like that. It's definitely you've got the correct right hand end there. That might be it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's swept. And where did I put my breaker structure? I haven't marked it yet.
right.
My change of character really. So that's kind of the basic of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's had a sweep, and I have an entry at about 159.315
uh,
on FXCM.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna quick look. I like where it's tapped into. Can't deny that.
I didn't look at that. That's good. I was just trying to get the shape, the
Yeah, yeah,
sweep of the
yeah,
entry. Um,
yeah. So in reality, mate. So obviously this black line is lower what's
yeah,
been put
just to
in.
lower the sweep. Yeah, yeah,
Just trying to think. So if I was trying to buy this, obviously I've got a trend line marked here. Um, just got to change a character. So in reality, I would say there's possibly a buy in there, which is what it's tapped into. So I mean, I've obviously marked this for something. Um, can't remember what. I don't know. A while ago now, I guess, a few weeks ago. So yeah, this could have been the actual buy entry we was waiting for. That this shouldn't have
yeah.
been
Fair
from
enough.
this move, mate. Obviously, if you're waiting
Yeah,
for another, you've waited for another change of character, which is obviously up to you and fine. There's nothing against it. I'd say it's done it though. You've got
yeah. I think
there,
that's fair.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Last touch of the trend line, if it's a good trend line, uh,
yeah,
pull back, sweep. Again, you've got the fastening of price action and pushes away. Uh, yeah, it's
so I'm watching that one anyway.
yeah, I like it, mate. The only thing I could say is, like I say, this here could be. I'll look to the left, see if it's filled something that we should have said. Because you obviously we could have just set a pending on here, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that imbalance there. Let's cut this candle here.
Right.
Just about equal with it, but yeah, it's filled that and touch more. Obviously, there's a decent candle there as well, so possibly something in here, even lower. Like I say, I would have said if you was that was your entry in a way, you'd do that plus spread tonight. You're never just gonna not on a JPY pair. You don't want to say just
Yeah,
you want to be 2.5, three minimum. Three would good spreads would keep you in. Yeah, pip spread. It was 3 pips. Uh, but yeah, like I say, there's another change of character in the way that you've done. But yeah, it's definitely the right lines, mate. Absolutely right lines.
cool. Good,
Just,
good,
just,
good step
just
forwards.
maybe the only advice I'd give on that is, like I say, just look what it's tapping into as well. If you can add that and
Yeah,
go, because if you would have gone, you've got this trend line.
yeah,
Start looking just below, because
yeah,
obviously your trade's here, whereas it could have been here, and this was, like I say, this was your entry.
yeah,
So just
yeah. I'd already done.
start
Yeah,
looking at that sort of before area. Go, yeah, I'm happy if
yeah.
it taps into there.
Cool.
Uh, yeah, add that to it if you can, mate. Definitely. I know
Yeah,
it's
that
not
makes
easy
sense.
because just identifying this can be hard enough, I suppose, but definitely down the line, you'll definitely be adding going right. What
Yeah,
am I? If we if we sort of say that for me, this is phase one of the trade, and this is
Yeah,
obviously entry phase, so phase two, like your this is your phase one, and this would be my
yeah.
phase two. So, you know, without
That's
trying to
not, and
confuse you.
that's not rare, is it? You usually get more. You often get more than one tap if it's going to
Yeah, yeah,
go.
absolutely, mate. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
cool.
all of these, all of my trades, well, not all of them, generally most of them at least, are if like as a basic setup of your trend line, there's a sweep, breaker structure, possible entry coming up. It it might come back for an entry in a while, like in a week or two.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all right. I can wait.
but yeah, but generally these taps always tap into something anyway. So
Yeah. Do you
you
know
know,
what? I didn't look left, so that's a good point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And what was the other one, mate? We'll have a quick.
It's Swiss JPY.
I knew you was going to say Chef JP. Huh, knew it.
Right. So hang on a minute. It's also on the 15.
Yeah.
There's a clear. Let me just find out. Hang on a minute. Mate.
Guess is this? Is it to the downside you've got it, man? Is that is it?
No, it's up. You've got to zoom into that last couple of days, Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the sweep is that low, that like final low
Yeah.
to the right. No, no, middle of
This one again.
Friday. That's it there. That's the
Yeah.
sweep. And there's a trend line. Those two. That's it. You left. I think you left us to go a big one. No, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So it doesn't have. It does have a change of character now. I think.
Yeah.
What did I use? I used. Well, I've got clear touches on mine. Let's just make sure I've got it right. Yeah, my left hand end was a bit higher than yours.
Uh, so
So with
I'm going to tell you the same thing again.
it's already reacted off something because it's reacted
So,
off the end of my trend line, hasn't it?
mm,
Off the zone which where my trend line ends, yeah.
yeah.
Because
So,
if you extend that trend line, this is a sweep. Yeah, that's quite clear.
yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah. But what I'm going to say is, mate, is because we've
yeah,
got this trend line here.
yeah,
It's a bigger and more obvious one.
yeah,
Last touch, pull back, sweep, break. So your sweep is possibly what I'd be looking for an entry at.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah. So it's same again. Look left. Obviously, this is the order block that's responsible for the change of character.
yeah, right,
So change of characters at that point there.
yeah, cool.
Obviously, trend line, pull back, sweep, break. I'm not saying this is the actual move, but
Yeah, sure, it's cool.
I feel like you're very close. Like because you get in the trend line and the sweep, you're just not like uh, you. It's the looking left, I suppose, mate. Because if you'd looked left and gone, is that move earlier
Right,
rather?
I wouldn't have
Do you
seen
know
that.
what I mean?
I'll have to replay it. It basically is a zoom out, isn't it? I'll have to replay it in the morning.
Yeah,
So I've done a video and go through it in the morning. Cool. All
yeah.
right, cool. Thanks.
No worries, mate. But like I say, we've got a couple of nice little imbalances here as well. Little imbalance there, just that tap. Yeah, yeah. Just before 4 o'clock on a Friday for a buy, mate. I'm not sure.
Well, it wasn't going to happen. It's an
Well, I mean,
entry.
to be
I had
fair,
it
mate,
marked at,
even just off the 1 minute, that's probably still a hell of a trade for anybody by anybody's standards, do you know?
yeah.
You won't turn your nose up at a 13 fold. Let's be honest.
Not, one
But
of them
that's
a
not.
week could do me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's not even refined. I've just gone there as a 1 minute zone, So,
Yeah. Cool.
so yeah, advice for moving forward, mate. Just check a bit left.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
This
get mad about that.
this trend line is uh, maybe okay. I'm not convinced on this
It's a
middle,
bit
but
dubious. To be fair, that's a bit dubious, isn't it?
yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
dubious. But um, it's all a
I
bit
don't, I'm
tight
not
as
using,
well.
s- I'm not, yeah, I understand. I'm not using the same left hand as you. I'm using that, the
Yeah,
next low up as the left hand end.
yeah. But I mean, this one stood out to me even when when we first opened
Yeah.
the chart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
it's very very close, mate. Keep
We'll
going.
get there. Yeah,
We
we'll
will
do.
absolutely. All right, mate.
Appreciate it,
I'll
Lee.
call
Thank
it
you.
there. No worries, mate. I'll speak to you later.
Cool. Have a good week, mate. See ya.
Cheers, mate. Bye.